Another issue that is really important, and it's really sad to see the way that it's covered, because it's so divisive, and the way that it divides is over the fate of actual living human beings, and that's immigration. Mm-hmm. And it's really sad because I can understand both sides. I really can. And Catholic teaching supports what most people consider both sides of the issue, but neither political party encapsulates or actually teaches what the church teaches.
Right.
It doesn't. So, I mean, we look at it, it's like, I don't want people coming to this country stealing our jobs. They're not stealing your jobs, number one. Look, if you were the ones wanting to go out and pick lettuce or drive cabs or these jobs that immigrants typically take, you're lying to yourself. You're hating on people who are trying to make a better life for them. But as Catholic teaching has always taught, a nation has the right to have a lawful and defended border, and that all immigrants coming to that country by Catholic teaching are to respect and assimilate into that culture and not try to enforce their culture on that culture. That's a real divide between the way Democrats and Republicans view the issues. Now, you'll think, Republicans say Democrats want open borders and we're taking everyone in with complete impunity. And then Democrats will say Republicans are merciless and they want to shut everyone down, and there's political refugees who are starving or in danger, and they're sending them back to be murdered by drug cartels. There's got to be somewhere in the middle, and that middle is what the Catholic Church teaches. If you are having issues with this, really study what the church teaches, because that's the answer. It's not what the Democrats or the Republicans are teaching. Yeah. There's a middle ground.
There is a middle ground, and there are middle ground aspects of this that the public are not aware of because the politicians don't want that. They want your vote. So they're not going to be like, well, this is what we're doing here, and this is the tweener aspect of how all this works. In a lot of cases, we do receive a lot of people. In a lot of cases, we send people back, and there's a real problem with it.
Right, absolutely.
There's a lot of system-wide problems, right, with the way that we handle this. So for us to think that when a Democrat says that one side is just pure evil and then the other, for us to even believe and be brought into that is it's just an argument that doesn't have any legs.
And we're forgetting that this argument is predicated on actual human beings, children, families. I know for a fact, if I was in a country like some of these countries, and there was a country close to me that would provide a better environment for my family, I would do anything it took to get there. Mm-hmm. And if I had to follow the laws, and that was the easiest way to get there, I would. But if I was in danger, you're damn right, I'm going to find a way to get my family out of danger into a safe place, just like the Holy Family did.
Yeah.
But I would also, if the option was presented to follow just laws, that would be my preferred option, like all of my ancestors did coming to this country, going through the process of immigration, registration, and assimilation and citizenship.
Yeah. But I mean, and this kind of goes back to some of the other things that we said about the issues, right? And how a policy is not going to take care of this.
Right.
If you do let everybody come in, or we have this very liberal way of bringing people in, you do open yourself up for certain things as a country to not protect the citizens that live there.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you've got another duty and responsibility that's woven into it. And so what is it? It's very complex. What is it? It's there's no way it's going to be perfect.
There's no soundbite political answer.
It's human.
Right.
If it's going to be perfect, it's going to have Christ in it, and then God could handle it. But I mean, it's just so difficult for all of this stuff. It's very difficult for a government to just have all the answers.
So here's what the Catechism says, that political authorities, for the sake of the common good for which they are responsible, may make the exercise of the right to immigrate subject to various jurisdictional conditions, especially with regard to the immigrants' duties towards their country of adoption. Immigrants are obliged to respect with gratitude the material and spiritual heritage of the country that receives them, and to obey the laws and assist in carrying civic burdens. So countries are to, if they are possible, and they say to within reason, if they can support other people, they should, because you have to.
Yeah.
But also, they have the right to defend their border, to regulate their border, and furthermore, to regulate their culture.
Yeah.
And furthermore, that the immigrant has the duty to assimilate and respect that culture.
Yeah.
Because cultures are important. wholesale migrations of people that destroy cultures is not a good thing for humanity.
No.
All you're doing is moving an issue from one place to another and squeezing a people out of their place and removing the dignity of that culture. So there's a middle ground here, and neither party has it.
Right. And it's a very difficult thing, because if you lean one way, then you're going to have problems in one area. If you lean the other way, you're going to have problems in another area, which again goes back to the fact that government is not going to solve our problems at the border.
It's not. But that needs to be solved, because there's some people suffering there.
I've been to the border cities, and it's heartbreaking.
They're real people.
And not only they're real people, it's just on both sides of the borderline. People are suffering tremendously, and that is what has to be addressed. I've spent time in Mexico City. I've spent time in Mexicali and Tijuana and Tecate and Calexico, and I've been even on the border, even into Texas. And it's just, you see certain levels of poverty. You see certain levels of people being subjected to drug trafficking and all other sorts of trafficking that are happening in those cities. And there are people that are oppressed on both sides. And of course they want to seek a better life. They don't want to live in that. They really don't want to live in that. They're subjected to that. You know, spending time with different philanthropic groups, spending time in poor communities, religious communities, we see the church operating over borders. We see philanthropic 501c3s and different nonprofits that are doing beautiful work in the name of the United States of America. This is who we are. We've been entrusted with a lot. And those who have been entrusted with a lot have great responsibility.
The church is always going to be more effective at dealing with local issues because of the nature of the church itself being ultranational, just completely without borders, but being everywhere.
Yeah.
The government's not going to do it. The church is a much better provider. Now, John Paul II, Pope St. John Paul II, on the World Migration Day, which is a day that prays for migrants worldwide, 2001, he said something really very succinct, very beautiful, and very awesome about migration. And it's specifically, these are the rights to these are the rights to have one's own country, to live freely in one's own country, to live together with one's family, to have access to the goods necessary for a dignified life, to preserve and develop one's ethnic, cultural, and linguistic heritage, to profess publicly one's religion, and to be recognized and treated in all circumstances according to one's dignity as a human being. So he's saying, look, countries have the right to preserve their heritage, their language, their culture. But the idea that you have to respect the dignity of another person, when you can bring that person in, that stranger, and treat them in a way that will bring them into your family, that's a much better solution. And that's what the church proposes.
Without a doubt.